Well, for the first time, we welcome in the bullseye the newest member of the UB Athletics Department, Sean Ferrera. Official title, Sean, Deputy Athletic Director for External Relations. Please explain exactly what that title means to everyone.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. It feels good to hear that, Paul. Thank you for the invite onto the bullseye. I'm excited to be the Deputy Athletics Director here for External Relations, and what that means is anything anybody sees. Any way that people get in here, get a ticket, talk about this place, get involved, get engaged, that's what I get to have a lot of fun with. From broadcasting to in-person to online, it's any and everything, and it's the ADHD of my brain.
It's a lot, right? Do you like the fact that you just rattled off like 8 different things that you're in charge of?
Yes, I love it, actually. It's the best part of what I get to do. So I was, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, I think, but I was a 400 hurdler in college, so my brain consistently thinks of how do you get over barriers over one lap, and how do you get over barriers in everything that we're doing. So that's what I like to do.
That's pretty awesome. That's a great analogy, and it sure sounds like you sort of live by that a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I live by that proper preparation prevents poor performance is what I always heard. And in a 400 hurdle race, that's what you have to do, but also in my kind of job, that's what you also have to do. You have to be able to prepare for any and all scenarios, and even ones that may not have happened just yet.
Right. Well, speaking of scenarios, just based on the nature of the business, you get hired and you start here within weeks of the start of the fall and the football season, which I think you'll tell me that's a lot to be thrown into.
Well, one, I moved across the country from California, which is a big piece of it with my family. And then number 2, you just start. You just kind of get going, and you can't really worry about what you don't know just yet and all of the other pieces, but you get going and you do your best. And that's what I've tried to do the last couple of weeks.
What was it about this place and this job that appealed to you to pick up the family and go 3,000 miles?
Well, one, part of my family, my wife is from the East Coast, and getting closer back to her family has been a big thing for us and what we've been talking about, but also, too, the opportunity of the place. I think Buffalo is everything that anybody could ever want it to be, right? It's a big city, small town, similar to what I've experienced in the past. There's a lot of students here who can get engaged. There's a community around, whether it's here at UB or just the local sports community. It's people who care about sports and are passionate about it. So for me, it was just the opportunity to come to a place where you can do all of it and have a lot of fun with it.
Well, let's talk about the students, because I know all of us were impressed by the student turnout for the season opening game against Lafayette, and that's something that is important to this program, right? Yep. Pete Lembo mentioned it in his weekly press conference getting ready for the game at Missouri. How impressed were you? What did you do to maybe help convince all those students that they needed to be there for that one?
Yeah, and it's not just me, it's the whole team. It's the marketing team, it's everybody here at this place doing what they're supposed to do on a daily basis. And really what we've just tried to do is partner with campus experience or student experience and work on the right things to do. So we over-communicated last week, and we're going to continue to over-communicate with our students and let them know how to get here. We're also trying to make it easier for them to get into games. So we've gone away a little bit from having to download a ticket or grab any of that type of stuff. We're using the UB Horns Up app to get people in the door and make it a little bit simpler for them to get here. But we're going to try like heck to get as many of them here as we possibly can. We want them to have really fun times here and make memories while they're going to school and getting a first-class, first-rate education here at the University of Buffalo. So we want to make sure everybody here is coming out to our games, whether that's football, volleyball, basketball in the winter, and anything we got going on in the spring. So
certainly seeing a nice win helps get people back. What else did you learn about the experience for particularly the students that you feel like will encourage them to want to come back for the game against UMass?
Oh, yeah. I think we had a spectacular moment with everybody singing along to Taylor Swift over there in that third quarter. We're going to keep trying to do that and build some of those moments in a game day. I think everyone loved the cowboy hats. We've got 750 blue shirts coming in for next week's game here against UMass, and I think we're going to try to continue to engage our students as best we possibly can and bring them into our world and go to their worlds as much as we possibly can.
At one point from the radio booth, I looked over to the end zone and I saw a mechanical bull set up in the end zone, which sort of occurred to me like, I can't believe it took somebody that long to finally get a mechanical bull at a Bulls game. Whether that was your idea or not, feel free to take as much or little credit as you want, but that was very cool.
No, I'll take no credit. I'll give the credit to the marketing team. So Mike Murtaugh, Brandon Mama, and Johnson Lee. I think they've been doing a good job getting a lot of hard work done throughout the summer to build a fun plan. And similar with the Fan Fest, the Coca-Cola Fan Zone pregame, I think that was something to build community and get people in here and engaged and have a lot of fun on game day. So it's more than just the game. We want anybody, whether you, as much as we want people who love football, but if you've got a family, you want to bring them out, you're a student, you got people you want to come out and hang out with, we want it to be a place where you can come do that.
You mentioned it briefly already. What have you learned about the community of UB alums, of Western New Yorkers, and kind of where UB fits into their world, which, again, we have the benefit of being a smaller city with 2 pro sports teams, which is awesome and great, but something you probably have to figure out where this school fits in between.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've learned is people have a lot of pride. People have a ton of pride in putting that buffalo on their chest, whether it's for the Sabres, whether it's for the Bills, even the Bisons, and of course us here at the Bulls. So I think what we have to do is tap into that pride that people have here and show them that this is a place that they can be really proud of, whether it's with this football program or with anything else that we've got going on here, because it's a first-rate institution, really trying to be a top 25 institution in the country. So I think we've got to do that on our part too.
Let's talk a little bit about your travels to get here. You mentioned from California to here, you were at Long Beach State. You've been at places like New Mexico. You've been at UCLA. What's the biggest difference between being a West Coast guy and coming here?
I said the other day that somebody was 2 hours ahead of me, and then I had to remind myself that everything is now 2 hours behind me. So that was a big difference. And outside of that, I think everything's been pretty similar, pretty smooth. I think people here are really welcoming. They're very open. Everyone's been telling me since I've moved here, if you need help, I'm happy to give it. And that's been really nice to just find that warm welcome, that sense of community out here just really quickly for the last 4 weeks that I've been here.
What have you learned from your previous stops that's helped make you as good as you are in your career and profession?
To be flexible. And adaptable, to understand that you don't know everything that's coming tomorrow, but also to know that you know enough things about how this business is going to go to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. I think what I've tried to do over all my stops is learn from the people around me, because they're better than I am. They're experts in their field, and I trust them. And I think I try to get people to trust me as quickly as I possibly can as well, that I know what I'm talking about, and I trust that they know what they're talking about, and we're going to build something special. Because building something special is not up to one person. I'm really grateful for the team I had at my last institution in Long Beach State, that we did a lot of really good things together, and I think we can do the same thing here at UB.
You've been places before, but at Long Beach State, they do not have a football team. What's it like to come back into the football world? And you've been at places like Oklahoma and UCLA where it's at the highest levels.
Yeah, it's I said chaotic in the best way possible. It is so fun to watch the team run out, see everybody here in the field house, the Murchie family field house that we're in right now, pre-game, the pageantry of it all, and I'm excited to get back to work in that type of field and love what I was doing before, of course. It was a great place and great place to be back home, but I think we can continue to do some really cool things here.
As we record this on the eve of the Bulls heading to Missouri to take on an SEC team for the first time, I think, in over 10 years, Oklahoma wasn't an SEC program when you were there. They are now,
Yep.
but they're still a blue blood college football program. And there were some questions to Pete Lemble about what's different about the SEC that we might not know about. And I guess the same question somewhat applies to you. What's different about a place like Oklahoma at its highest level that you can tap into, or that you sometimes shake your head at, whatever the response might be?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question, Paul. I think the biggest thing at places like that, whether it's Florida or Missouri or Oklahoma or even a Texas, is that people really put that pride in where they are, right? Wherever they might be, wherever they might be from, they really enjoy putting that bullhead on their chest and wearing it proud and being really excited about what their school or what their football team or what any part of their program has going on. And I think that is something that I think we can help teach here at UB, and I think we already have it. I think we just gotta, dig a little deeper and uncover it for some folks, and just remind them that you can be a fan of any of the other pro sports that are going on here as much as you can be a fan of UB. And we want you to be a part of this experience in this environment because it's family friendly first, right? I think it's something that we can do. And the other thing with those type of places is they pass that on for generations. There are some folks that I've actually talked to from my time at OU where they had family there since the stadium opened. And we're talking about in the 1800s, the early 1900s, going out to Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. So it's one of those things where you can do it for a really long time and build a tradition, and I think that's something that we can do here at Buffalo.
All right, tell us a little more about your prowess as a college track and field athlete. Where did you go to college?
Yeah, so I went to UC Riverside out in California. It was about 20 minutes away from where I grew up. My brother actually played basketball there as well for John Massey, while, if I'm not mistaken, current president here at UB, President Tripathi, was the dean or chancellor of UC Riverside. So
interesting.
That's actually pretty interesting, just how the paths kind of cross. So I was a track and field athlete there. I was a team captain for 2 years. I was a SAC president for 3 years. So I've had a lot of experience with my team and my teammates, and 4-hour practices and all the kind of craziness that goes along with being a 400 hurdler.
Was that what made you decide you wanted to stay involved in college athletics?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think I've been around college athletics since I was 10 years old, and it's just something that's been around my family and my life, and I've consumed a lot of it, and I've found a way in through sponsorships and marketing and ticketing and all those kind of things, and you just kind of see it and you learn and you say, oh, okay, this is fun. And for me, I tell people all the time, I'm just trying to have as much fun as I possibly can. And I think working in sports, specifically working in college athletics, allows me to have as much fun as I possibly can.
Do you think you bring a different perspective to this job because you have been a college athlete before?
I think it's a little bit of a different perspective from the standpoint of I understand what it is like to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to practice and then go to class sweaty and do all those things, but also coming from an Olympic sport program where you want to get some recognition as well, but you understand how this thing works. But you also get from my seat, you get to see how we can make an impact on young people's lives and where they end up, and I think that's pretty cool.
All right, and finally, Sean, tell us a little bit about the family and how they're adapting to their new home here.
Yeah, it's going really, really well. So my wife and my son, Brianna and Zane, we're excited to be here in Western New York. I think he's adapting much better than we thought he would be. He's just turned 1, so he's all over the world. But we've gotten a few good ice cream dates in there and a couple of those things. So we're figuring that out.
Snow is coming. He'll get a kick out of that, won't he?
Snow's coming, and I'm not really looking forward to changing diapers and all that kind of stuff. But we'll figure it out.
He will enjoy that. He won't know that he's never seen it before because he'll be old enough to have known it at this point.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it'll be all he knows, which will be cool. But he'll get to tell his friends when he gets older that he's from California, and that'll be fun for him.
Well, that's great, Sean. I think you touched on the thing that almost everybody who's new says is that this is an incredibly welcoming community, and for those of us that have spent a lot of time here, that's a nice compliment that people always make you feel like you're part of it within your first couple of weeks, and I know that's going to continue, and we're looking forward to working with you and looking forward to the fun stuff that you're going to do here at UB.
Thank you.
All right, Sean Ferrera, the new UB Deputy Athletic Director for External Relations. We got to get the title right. It's a mouthful.
It's a lot of words. I just say guy who likes to have fun.
All right, there you go. He's UB's guy that likes to have fun, and we've had fun as he joins us in the Bullseye.